Hi, I'm the Lag Dr. Clay Ballard, and today we're going to talk about one of the biggest conflicting things out there in golf, one of the most confusing pieces of the golf swing, and that's extension versus staying connected. When should we stay connected in the golf swing and when should we get extension, and particularly when we're going into the release and getting energy into the golf ball. Now, one of the things that you're always going to hear when you're talking about staying consistent, people are going to bring up staying connected and trying to keep your arms, close to your body as you're rotating back and through. You're going to hear the idea that you want to keep your arms and your body and everything rotating through together as one unit, as one piece. Simply not what happens with good golfers. The best golfers in the world are not rotating their arms and their body through together. They're releasing their arms to get extension. So if I'm extending my arms, if I'm getting this nice straight extension through impact here into the release, well, my arms can't stay connected. They have to fly out away from my body. And that brings me to today's tip, which is getting a little bit of air under your armpits is what I call it. So you got to get some air under those armpits so that those arms can speed up and they can get speed into the swing. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the best golfers in the world performing this motion, and then I'll go over that for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at a couple of PGA Tour pros. This is Dustin Johnson, and one thing you'll notice is he's got great extension through the shot. Both arms are dead straight, well into the release. If we're looking at his hands as they're just past parallel to the ground, arms are straight as a string here, and you can tell that he's got a little bit of air. He's feeling like he's got some air under his arms. We can see that the arms are actually not going to be extending way out away from the body, but they're about as extended as they can get. And the sensation is that the hands are being pulled by centrifugal force and the club head out away from your body. And you don't want to fight that. Your arms should be very, very loose as you're doing this and not tight and restricted by the body. Let's take a look now at Tiger Woods. All right, now here's a picture of Tiger Woods, and as he's coming in through the release and his hands just get past waist high, again, you're going to see these arms are nice and straight. They're being pulled away from his body. The sensation is that you're going to have your arms flying away from your body, and that's all just the result of releasing the club down here at impact. So he let all the momentum go here at impact, and the momentum of the club head is just pulling his arms away from his body as he's swinging through. Lastly, let's take a look at Weekley here, who's also a great ball striker on the PGA Tour. He has a little bit different swing, a little bit different release, but again, as his arms are coming well into the release, both arms are dead straight, getting that great extension. That's all just a result of releasing the golf club, letting that momentum pull your arms away from your body. Okay, so as we saw with those PGA Tour pros, their arms weren't glued to their body, and that's a very common mistake I see for amateurs. They're trying to use the body too much, and their arms are trying to stay connected. You've heard all this stay connected stuff, and you're trying to keep them very tight to your body. When we watch the PGA Tour pros, now they're getting very extended, and those arms are flying out away from their body. They're getting a little bit of air under their armpits here. So the key with that is feeling as though you're releasing the club. As I come in down into impact, I need to feel like I'm letting go of this club, and momentum is pulling my arms out. So I have to get speed from my arms and let them travel out away from my body. Here's what I want you to do to get started. I want you to feel like I want you to actually go into your follow through and hold your follow through as your club is about waist high. So I want my club to be parallel to the ground and waist high in the follow through. And what I want to make sure here is that I'm getting some air under my arms, as I mentioned, and that this club is parallel. My right arm is rolling over so that the right palm would be facing behind me, and that's going to get me in the correct position to release this golf club and to get some speed into that. Now, when I get this motion properly, I want to hold it there for 15 or 20 seconds. That way I can feel the proper motion, feel what it's like to get some speed in my arms and let those arms travel away from my body. I want them to be nice and loose and relaxed. Once you've done that, you're ready to pair this up with lag in the golf swing. And if you want to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a gift to you, a bonus clip that's usually only available to premium members. I'm going to show you the first part of the wide, narrow, wide drill. And that's going to go over not only how to release the club properly and a great piece of information about the shoulders and the release that you're going to need to know so that you can release without hooking, but it's also going to show you how to get lag, how to do the proper takeaway, and a lot of different motions with the body that you're going to want to get correct. So let's go ahead and take a look at the wide, narrow, wide video. I want you all to remember that each and every one of you can improve at your golf game. All we need is the right information and some smart work. And that's what my goal is for you all. I want to give you the right information. I want to show you how to work smart so you can improve. I look forward to seeing you guys much more in the future and working with you on your golf game. I'll see you soon. So how would you like to have the same swing shape as every PGA Tour golfer in the world? I know what a lot of you are thinking right now. That's not even possible. There's a lot of guys that swing flat and around their body. There's other guys that swing more upright. There's all kinds of variations in swing shapes on the PGA Tour. And that is true, but there is one swing shape that'll be common for every professional golfer, and that's wide, narrow, wide. Now what I mean by this is in the takeaway and backswing, you're gonna make a nice wide swing arc. Then you're gonna narrow that swing arc in the downswing by creating lag, and then wide in the release as you get rid of lag and create some clubhead speed. It's the only way to create tour caliber clubhead speeds and still be very consistent. So if you want to learn the wide, narrow, wide swing shape, I'm going to show it to you in 3 simple steps. All right, so first let's talk about whether or not you're already doing this move correctly. Now the opposite of wide, narrow, wide, the PGA Tour swing shape would be narrow, wide, narrow. And that's going to be the high handicapper swing shape. When you're doing this, instead of having that nice wide swing arc going back, you're bending the right arm early and you're picking the club up with your right wrist. This is creating a very steep angle on the way back, a very narrow arc. Now from here, the tendency is going to be to cast. Now the reason for this is I'm picking up this right arm and I get this right arm really, really loaded and by my side here. It's narrow, it feels like I want to throw with this right arm from right off the top, right off the bat. So I'm going to cast as I come down. And that's great if I want a lot of clubhead speed back here, but if I want a lot of clubhead speed at the ball, I need to keep that angle. So if you go narrow, your tendency is going to be to throw from the top, cast the club, and then as you're coming through, you're going to go narrow again and get that chicken wing position. So you're going narrow, wide, and then narrow in the follow through, which kills clubhead speed at the most crucial part, and that's impact. So let's go over these 3 steps in order so that you can perfect them in your own swing. Okay, so move number 1 is wide, and that's basically just going to be a takeaway for this drill. We're going to start out with about a half swing. It's called a 9 to 3 drill, so it means we're going to 9 o'clock with our left arm on the way back. We're going to 3 o'clock on the way through. And the reason we're going to do this is it's going to allow you to go slower, to be able to see all your positions, and then once you can perfect this half swing, it's going to be really easy to take it a little farther back and swing a little farther through and incorporate this into a full swing. So let's start out with a 9 to 3 drill. So step 1, as I mentioned, is wide. We already know why this is a good thing. The wider I go on the way back, as a rule of thumb, the more lag I can create on the downswing. So if I'm going narrow, I'm going to cast. If I go wide, I'm going to create lag. So the first key to this is to keep the right arm straight. If we keep this right arm straight all the way to the end of the takeaway, or when the club's parallel to the ground here, I'm going to have to create a very wide arc. So you can see that now I'm forced to turn my shoulders, which is a good thing. I'm forced to do a lot of other things that are great we're not going to talk about yet here in this video we're not going to talk about. But I'm making a very wide arc because my right arm is staying straight. Now, the second piece to this is I want to make sure that I get a little bit of weight shift. Now, we don't want to create a wide swing arc by shifting our entire body. So this would be overdoing it. This would be too wide. You know, there is a point where you can go too wide in the backswing. So we want to make sure that our weight only goes to the inside of my right foot. So if I go to the inside of my right foot, you can see that I'm remaining centered as I'm rotating. So my spine isn't moving all over the place as I'm going back and through. That would be the weight on the inside of my foot. So those are the 2 checkpoints I want you to do for step number 1. Straight right arm, weight to the inside. If you're shifting to the right with your body, you're going too far. So let's go ahead and go over step 2 now. All right, so now we're ready for step 2, and that's going to be getting narrow or creating lag in the downswing. So to start step 2, let me go back to the end of step 1. I've shifted the weight to the inside of my right foot. My right arm is dead straight. To start move 2, I'm first going to shift my weight to the left. So this is just going to be lateral for this drill. You're going to get a little bit of rotation in the hips, so don't really worry about too much of that. You're just thinking about shifting the weight from the inside of your right foot to the center, or the center of your ankle on your left foot. So it's going to start out by looking like this, and you'll also notice as I'm doing this, I'm starting to let this club hinge a little bit. So here's step 1. We're going to check this position, go in slow motion, make sure you're in the right spot. Then you're going to start move 2 by shifting the weight to the left and beginning to let these wrists hinge or to wrist to cock, just like in the down cock drill we talk about on the site. So we're just going to look like this in step 1. We're going to go to step 2, and that's the first piece. We're going to shift our weight. The second piece I want you to check is when your left hand is in front of your right thigh, you want to make sure that this club is at least parallel to the ground. That's a good checkpoint for you. Now you don't want to do this by cupping this left wrist. That's too much. We're trying to get too much lag here. Go ahead and keep this left wrist nice and flat and make sure that as that left wrist. Now it's time to take action. Don't let another year pass and still be frustrated with your golf game. This is your year to beat all of your friends. Go to the description below and click the link to sign up for your free membership. It will never cost you a dime, and you'll receive over 2.5 hours of detailed, eye-opening video lessons. Plus, you will be able to see the remainder of this video, only available if you click the link on this particular video. Be the first of your friends to join our 40,000 plus free members. We look forward to having you on our team.